So first of all, congratulations on Veleno and the release of
Thank
that.
you.
Very awesome
Thank
album. Back on the front again after like 2009, 2007, if I remember. How does that feel to be like back in front, like live wise?
It was very, very complicated at the beginning because the point was when I started, the band. I was the frontman, yes, but we weren't playing live that much. I was fronting another band called Hour of Penance, but even with them, even if we were doing the first tours, still it was very underground stuff, and even the audiences that we are playing for, there was, all the time they were not that many, so it was more underground thing. Then for some stuff, we couldn't find like a proper lineup, but we really wanted to do the band and turn this passion into a regular job. So we tried to find all the compromises to make all the efforts to make it happen. And one of this was like to move myself to the drums, because we needed somebody that really wanted to do it in that position. And I moved to drums for, as I said, as a compromise at the very beginning, and nobody was expecting that this kind of stuff would have lasted almost 9 years. So when I went back to the front line, and it was tricky because the audiences we were playing for were like 50 times more crowded than before, and I didn't have the experience that Tommy made during these years. We played almost 800 gigs together, so a lot of experience in this 800 gigs together. So when I went back, it was a little bit tricky at the very beginning to you don't know how to do. You are I don't know, maybe also underrating yourself or underrating your personality, and you start acting. But all of a sudden I realized that thing wasn't working at all, and I started to be myself, and I was lucky that people embraced me and give me like a warm welcome back, and it worked out. But it was very, very complicated psychological at the very beginning. But right now I'm very thankful. It's one of the best moments in my life. I really love what I do. I feel way better. I think that this thing of coming back to the front position was something that changed it was a good change for the band, and it was a good change and a good thing for me as well, because finally I can express myself 100%. I feel very natural in this position, and the whole band got the all the positive from this change. So it's I'm very happy. So it was complicated, but somehow I made it, and now I'm happy that it worked out.
I'm glad it worked out. So Veleno is the word for venom in Italian, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and as far as I gathered, the idea for making the whole album around like venom and poison was kind of a coincidence.
Was it? Yeah. Well, yeah. Not a coincidence, because we had something in mind, but it was way more various, way more spontaneous, even in the songwriting process than the other times. So. And the fact that it's not like a narrative is a way of making a concept. That there is not a story or like Labyrinth, a myth. So you have all the characters, and in all songs describe a behavior or an action or something that happens in the story. And there are, as I said, all the characters that can be used as a metaphor. For treating different subjects, different behaviors. This time was different because we needed something that was a fil rouge, something that could connect all the songs, but we wanted to treat very different subjects. And some of them are related to the inner struggles, inner fragilities, fears, So they belong to the inner, side of our nature, and the other ones are the way we act, we behave in relationships with other men, and with the nature, with what surrounds us. So the concept is this analysis of the relationship between the man and the nature, intended as natural environment, other people, and also the inner world, the inner nature, the human nature. So this relationship was the analysis of this relationship is the different subjects. But the things that reunite all the songs, the things that connect all the songs, always present in all the songs, is the poisoning, is the self-sabotage, the self-destruction, which is operated by man, who is the main actor. So at the end, we were like, all these stories, the evolution of all these stories are all the same. The poisoning is always there. And why don't we use a word that has so many metaphorical and non-metaphorical meanings that can connect, can relate all the songs and reunite all the songs under one term. And then the choice of the word in Italian was just because we really loved the sound. We wanted to do something different, and we thought that it would have been given even more artistic value to an album if you put some of your heritage, some of your pride into the word, and that's why we call it Veleno and not we didn't use an English word. But technically the concept is this, this poisoning. So it was let's say that we had an idea up front, but we decided the title for last,
Okay.
So it's like 50-50.
I was half right.
You were half right.
You chose Hansen Studios for the mixing and mastering, and that gives a little point of pride when you are Danish.
Yeah.
Why that studio?
Because first of all, Jacob is one of the nicest guy we ever met in the industry. No way. For me, that I always put the human first, and then the professional. Let's not speak about the professional because he is one of the best, but everybody knows. What that not everybody knows is that besides being one of the best producer of metal nowadays, he has been nominated for Grammys with Volbeat. He had like a shitload of great successful albums on his shelf. It's great, but not everybody knows that he is also one of the most sweet and most dedicated and motivated human being we ever met in the industry. He's a great man, and you said that you are proud of being Danish because we produced the album there, but you should also be proud that you have this kind of people, working and collaborating with many bands all around the world, and the result is perfect. I think this is the album with the best production we ever had. It's very clear, very detailed. He had his own vision. We were, asking and try to put, to always saying our opinion, always trying to lead the mix and the master to a certain direction. But his personality, was strong enough. His character is so strong. He knows very well what he's doing, and he prevented us to make, to take very shitty decisions. So we have to be very thankful to him for this, because he is a great producer. This makes this is the biggest difference between a producer and an engineer. An engineer just, you say, I want this, I want that, and he tries to please you as much as he can. A producer like him, he has his own vision, and he put his vision into the music itself. So it gives an extra value, an extra artistic value as well to the music, and boosts it. And we are super happy with the production. So and everybody is super happy with the production. Now we can tell it because the album is out and the feedback is massive, and it's massively positive, especially with the production. So we are super happy to have worked with Jacob, and I do believe that we will work with him many times in the future.
That was going to be my next question. If there was like a future collaboration from maybe the next album.
we might work. Yeah, we might work with him again, because Jens did with the previous one with King, did a great job, and we were happy, but we were lacking a little bit of power. Let's say we needed to. We needed to find as much as we try to find a balance between the orchestral side and the metal side of the band. So these two souls that have to coexist in the band. We also needed to find somebody that understands it, and as I said, has his own vision and decide. Give more importance to something sometimes, give more importance to something else in another. Situations, and so put his himself in what he does. Put his own vision, his own taste. Let's say. So it helped to make the album way more clear, way more polished and detailed, and without losing power, without losing aggressiveness, without losing this death metal feeling that we. With in King is a little bit more light, let's say. Veleno is way more massive.
Do you have any track on the album that's like is your favorite, or you have like particularly proud of?
Well, I'm very I have three songs. Let's say three songs. Which are that are like for three different reasons that are not my favorite, but I'm very there is a link, something where that how one of them is like, even if it's not my favorite musical wise, it's Sugar, because it's because of the meaning of the song. I wanted to write a song. Because this, heroin addiction, it was a problem that, in some way, have been part of my life, because some of my friends had like big issues with this, and I've never found the way and the time, not the time to do it, but the moment to do it in my life, because it's a very personal thing, and even if I was writing the music. In all the Fleshgod albums, I wasn't the frontman, and I didn't want to talk about something in first person and having somebody else to sing, something so close, so important to me. So this time I had the opportunity to put myself, as when I was writing the lyric, as in first person, and try to put in the lyrics the feelings, the problems, the struggles, the burdens that they have to carry somehow. And it was a healing process for me, because I really wanted to do that, and for years I wanted to do that, and this was the right moment. That's why we picked that song as a single as well, because of the meaning. The second one is The Day Will Be Gone, which is very, very different song, very, let's say, old, super atmospheric song, but the meaning as well in the lyrics. The lyrics are like a matrix, it's like a dialogue. And it was very tricky to write, and at the same time it was very interesting, because it's based on a concept from a philosopher called Epicurus. And I can, the main sentence, the main thing is death doesn't belong to mankind, because where there's the man, there is no death, and when there is death, there is no man. So this was it's a great teaching. Every time we struggle in life, every time we complicate our lives, every time we poison. That's why the poison coming back. We poison our existence with the fear of dying, with the fear of something we don't know. What's coming next? What's the afterlife? What's going to happen? And everything. All these fears. The more we go on, the more we grow older. It starts to be heavier and heavier. And I feel it, because I love existence, I love life, and I want to live forever. And but at the same time, this thing is poisoning me, because most of the time I'm poisoning my existence with this fear, with this it's like a constant feeling of. I would say it's got a little bit tricky to translate for me, because it's a little bit philosophical. But that you have this thing always in your, at least me, I have it in my soul. So even if I'm living the best moment in my life, I just don't want to miss it. I just don't want to. I don't want to lose it. While thinking this, I'm already losing something. So it's the meaning. That's why I'm really close to that song. And another one is Absinthe, which was a song that where we wanted to experiment, and we wanted to have Paolo lead singing and change the rules once again, and express ourselves like 100%. So it has a lot of souls, a lot of atmospheres in the songs. So I really like the fact that we didn't put any kind of limit, any kind of prejudice in doing it. We just did it. We put it in the album, knowing that it would have been tricky for the people, because it's a very unconventional Fleshgod song. But the result is great. The feedback is great. So I'm even more happy, because we got recognition of taking a risk technically. So I'm happy for that.
One thing I was very pleasantly surprised about on the album was finding a cover of Rammstein's Reise.
Yeah.
Why Rammstein, and why that song?
Why Rammstein? They are one of the band we look up to when we are thinking about entertaining, when we are thinking about have a vision as a musician, as an artist. They are we are big fans of that band. We are big fans of the way they entertain, the way they set up live shows and everything. So we went to the gigs, we went to the shows many times. We listened to their albums, to their music, for kilometers, in between the gigs while driving a lot of times. And we were, most of the time playing the songs, some of these songs like Mutter or Reise or Mindteil or, Rammstein or Meinersbrand, in the practice room for fun. And then we was like, why don't we, pay like a proper tribute to one of the band, even if it's a totally different word, even if it's a totally different thing, why don't we try to pay like a proper tribute to this band? And we were like, okay, let's try. And it was like, just trying, I think. And in the end, it turned out to be very cool. And everybody was happy about that thing. And we were like, okay, but I'm not German, my German is shitty, and probably, that they will, the way we transform these songs maybe is too extreme. I don't know. But in the end, everybody was happy. And there were German people, in this discussion. They were like, yeah, but, everybody knows that you are technically making paying a tribute, make a cover to celebrate, your love for a band, and nobody cares about, all these details. It's like a musician's problems, not for the people. It's going to be great. And in the end, everybody was happy. That it's a song that, as you said, that never expected by a band like Fleshgod, and at the same time, everybody is happy because they are like, it's weird to hear Rammstein in a Fleshgod version, Fleshgod flavor, and Rise because it's very happy. It's very epic. Sorry, very epic song, and we want to keep this epicness as much as possible in the music, and we thought that would be great to do that song as also the harmonic progression or the melodies, the way they are interlaced, and the evolution of the song, the dynamics are. It's a great song itself. So we're like, let's try to make our humble version of the song, of a song that is fantastic already. So it was like a super win for us.
And you did a great job with the cover, in my opinion, as
Thank
well.
you.
So that was
Thank you.
You also made a bonus Blu-ray for the album, where you played in your, I believe it was your hometown, or yeah. We touched a little about this in the start, but how is the Italian metal scene?
It's growing, it's still growing. We had like in the 80s, we had a lot of 80s, early 90s, a lot of bands, and then we had like with the power metal, we had the opportunity to have other bands like Labyrinth, Rhapsody, Vision Divine, all these bands in the early 2000s. But it was because like of the power metal era. But for the extreme bands, I'd say that the late 80s, early 90s, when the death metal started to come out a little bit, and then there is a little bit of a hole, nothing happened for real. And then right now, everything is changing very fast. The metal scene here is growing super fast. There are a lot of metal bands, a lot of extreme metal bands that start to be like a proper scene. And also the metal scene is growing, and bands are starting to be signed from abroad, from big labels. So things are changing, and I'm really happy because we are one of the band that somehow attracted this attention to our scene, and things are changing now. So I'm very proud of this. And so we have a lot of bands, and also in the symphonic side of the metal. So there are a lot of things. Very good stuff coming out, and many of these bands are going to Jacob Studio. So there is this joint venture between Italy and Denmark now somehow. So it's good to it's good, especially when you work to create some art, to create something beautiful.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for talking with me. I have no more questions.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I'm really happy that you did it. You made it very smooth. And also, thank you for the interview. I really appreciate to have this, the opportunity to speak to the people, and thank to the people that will read or listen or whatever, this interview, to take the time to stop and learn a little bit more about our music and our band. So thank you very much.
And good luck in the future, and I hope to see you in venues in Denmark soon.
Hopefully, because we love Denmark. And every time we play there, it's a fucking success. It's great. So I really hope to come back.
I'm glad to hear.
Very soon.
Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you.